Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another future match commentary on the channel today. So this is going to be round 3 for my online Discord tournament, and it's going to be between 500 IQ deck on Salamangreat versus Lens on pure Shiranui. And be sure to actually stick around towards the end of the video if you want to hear some announcements. I have a couple of things to kind of, discuss at the end. But let's go ahead and, before we get started, if you do want to go ahead and play in the next tournament, which will be announced this upcoming Friday, be sure to check out the link to my Discord server. You can find that in the description box as usual. But let's get started now with this matchup here without any further ado. So looks like we're going to have the Salamangreat player winning the RPS, and they're going to choose to go first. Really nothing too shocking there. And the Salamangreat player's opening hand going first is going to be Torrential Tribute, Double Jack Jaguar, Ghost Bell, and Spinny. So not really a super strong hand. We don't see Gazelle or any way to get there, or Flame Buffalo. But nonetheless, at least there's a couple of engine cards here. TT is cool in the deck. It does actually work with the Baylink since it does protect against your own card effect destruction as well. And then we see, typical hand traps in this deck. So overall, it's a decent enough hand. And then the opening hand for Shiranui going second is going to be Spirit Master, Mizuki, Gamma, Unizombie, and a Psychic Soldier that rides into battle against the security forces on Currents of Lightning using an autonomic amplifier called Psyframe. So glad that this card didn't take too long to make an appearance after my break from making videos here. So pretty interesting hand for sure. We see a hand trap, and I'm not entirely sure how strong the engine is going second, but I guess we're going to find out in this game. So starting off with Salamangreat, we're going to see a normal summon of Jack Jaguar, and then they're going to link off into a copy of Baylings, and then trigger the Baylings effect. That's going to grab a copy of Salamangreat Sanctuary from deck to hand, and then from here, they're going to activate the Sanctuary before pitching the Spinny for its hand effect, and then bringing the Spinny back. And then they're going to link into a copy of Sunlight Wolf, and then relink using the Sanctuary into another copy of Wolf. They're then going to Jack Jaguar, recycle the first Wolf, and they don't actually have anything to link into here, or to add back rather, off of this Sunlight Wolf. So they're just going to set TT and pass. This is pretty interesting. I think that play kind of did lose pretty hard to nib. So I probably would have just gone for maybe a milder approach since there wasn't really a whole lot to be gained there in terms of card advantage. But overall, there's going to be set up for next turn, definitely. So play passes over to Shiranui, who draws a copy of One-Time Passcode for turn. This is the token generator, which summons a Cyber Selite level 4, 2000 attack and defense token, which can only be used once per turn. Curious as to what this is going to be used for. So they're going to start out by normal summoning the Unizombie, and they're just going to immediately Torrential Tribute, probably assuming it's just, like Zombie World, Baylor Drock deck, but this actually is not playing any of those cards. So Baylings, of course, is going to be used to protect it. And that's going to be a pass. Yeah, so they actually did also hold off on Gamma turn 1, which I guess makes sense, considering that this play didn't really end up on any interruptions by itself. So now they can just kind of hold it for this turn. They're going to draw another copy of Ghost Bell for turn, which is not ideal, but I guess it's another interruption later on. They're going to normal summon the other copy of Jack Jaguar before linking into an Update Jammer. So probably trying to just go for game here. They're going to link off into a copy of Transcode, and then they're going to declare Update Jammer before going for its Transcode effect on the Update Jammer. And they're going to try to go Battle Phase, but I think, yeah, you have to kind of stop this with Gamma. But they are going to chain Ghost Bell to negate the Gamma, and now they have the OTK set up without having to play into it anymore. So this should just be game right here. They're going to attack for 28, and then another 28, and then 25. These are both gaining 500 due to the Transcode Talker effect, since, of course, the co-linked monsters and itself gain 500 attack. And also can't be targeted, by the way. So yeah, that is game 1 going to Salamangreat. Not in a way that we would traditionally expect, because we didn't really see any of the Salamangreat traps or Gazelle. It was just Torrential Tribute stopping the normal summon, and that is all she wrote. So we're now going to move on into game number 2 here, where it looks like Shiranui is going to opt to start things off. If you guys are enjoying this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new here and want to see more commentary similar to this. But the opening hand for Shiranui going first this time around is going to be double one-time passcode, Gozuki, Unizombie, and Call by the Grave. All right, I'm pretty sure we are going to get to see what this is supposed to accomplish here in game number 2, because this hand definitely looks pretty strong. Has Unizombie, which is always really, really good. And then the opening hand for Salamangreat going second is going to be Will, Spinny, Sign Up Mining, Jack Jaguar, and the Sanctuary. Always is unfortunate to open this. And there are no going second cards in this hand, so that is going to be full combo for Shiranui, whatever that may be. So they're going to start things off with a Unizombie normal summon, and then use the effect to send from deck a copy of the Mizuki. And then the hand effect, or the effect to pitch from hand rather, is going to discard that Gozuki. They're going to use Mizuki to bring back the Gozuki, and then use the effect on field. That's going to send another copy of the Mizuki. They're then going to link summon a copy of Crystron Halqifibrax. That is going to bring out a copy of the Spectral Sword Shade from the deck. This can't activate right now, but basically you contribute it and then special summon 2 of your banished zombie monsters, including a Shiranui monster, and then their effects are negated, and then you're locked into zombies. So this is good to kind of potentially bring back off this Mizuki later and then just get more advantage, but they are a little bit low on Shiranuis as of right now. They're going to then activate the one-time passcode, so that's a level 4 with a level 3 tuner monster. So that's going to be synchroned off into a copy of the Squire Saga here. So this card can only be special summoned once per turn, and once per turn you can banish a face-up monster you control or in your graveyard, and then apply various effects based on the typing and attribute of the monster. So if it was a zombie, you can have your monsters gain 300 attack permanently. If it's a fire, you can non-target destroy a spell or trap, and if it's a synchro, you can non-target destroy a monster. So following that, they're going to Mizuki, bring back Gozuki, and then set Call by the Grave, and then pass. So this Halqifibrax definitely is going to tag into something here, because there's no other reason to really, bring this back off the Mizuki here. So I'm curious as to what the end goal is going to be. For turn, we're going to see a top deck Lancia, a little bit too late. Always loyal on time. They're going to start things out with Sign Up Mining. That's going to pitch the Jaguar, to which we're going to see a Halqifibrax being chained. So that's going to go for Shooting Riser Dragon, and then Mining Resolves for Gazelle. And then a new chain, looks like Riser and Gazelle are both going to be activated, so it'll be Gazelle Chainlink 1 as turn player, and then Riser Chainlink 2. So this on Synchro Summon allows you to Foolish any monster whose level is lower than this card's, and then you reduce this card's level by the level of what you send. So we'll see what is going to be sent. Looks like it's going to be a copy of the Shiranui Spectral Sword, which allows you to, while it's in graveyard, banish itself and another non-tuner zombie monster to basically perform a synchro summon, as if the levels basically combined normally, right? So we are going to see Gazelle being activated, to which we'll see Riser being chained to that. So we're going to go for a copy of Virtual World Shenshen, because 7 - 2 is 5. Yeah, so gonna go for Shenshen here, and this card is pretty nice against Salamangreats. And actually, its effect to in graveyard to banish Shiranuis could possibly be a good thing if there's like spare, Solitaires in there, or maybe even Spirit Masters, right? And additionally, the other effect to return banished monsters could come up here too, to like maybe return Mizuki's or like the Spectral Sword. So this card actually seems pretty sick in this deck. But Gazelle is going to resolve now. That's going to pitch, or rather dump a copy of Foxy. They're then going to go for Sanctuary, and then Foxy pitch the Spinny. That's going to bring itself out. And then going to link away for a copy of Baylynx. And then Spinny is going to summon itself, and then going to link for a copy of Update Jammer, getting rid of pretty much all the Salamangreats. And then Will Effect is going to attempt to special summon back this Jaguar. This is, going to be Called by the Grave here. And just like that, that is looking pretty good for Shiranui. So they're thinking here, they're going to link for a copy of Transcode Talker, and then just try and beat over the Squire Saga. I wonder why this was summoned turn 1. Very, very interesting. That does get banished via the Shenshen as well. And then they're just going to pass. So from here, we're going to see a top decked Solitaire. That is very, very good for sure. So they have Spectral Sword, they have the normal summon, of course, of Solitaire, and they have the passcode. So they have quite a few plays. Looks like we're going to see Lancia being dropped in standby phase, so no Spectral Sword this turn. They're going to proceed to battle phase, attack into the Transcode Talker, and then use the Shenshen effect that's going to return a Mizuki to the graveyard. And then they're going to go and normal summon the Solitaire, and then use that effect. That's going to attribute itself to bring out a copy of Unizombie from the deck. And then Unizombie effect is going to send a copy of Mizuki. So just setting up a lot for next turn, since obviously they are currently under Lancia. So yeah, next turn is going to be pretty scary, because they can bring back any of these. They can get multiple Foolishes. They could get, the Spectral Sword, which can subsequently just recycle the Squire Saga, which also got banished off of the Shenshen. So more incidental synergies here. Gonna go ahead and activate one-time passcode, and then the level 4 Unizombie is going to tune with the token for a copy of Omega. So lots of ways to recur stuff from the banished pile, which is definitely very cool to see. They're gonna pass in this, and for turn we see a top deck droplet. That is going to do pretty much nothing here. They're gonna go standby phase, Omega return the last copy of Mizuki, so the graveyard's completely ready to go here. And that's going to be a concession from Salamangreat. So very, very well done by the Shiranui player. Cool to see the deck kind of achieve its game plan, at least to some extent. So now we're going to move on into game number 3 here. And before we do, well, we're going to see the Shiranui player opt to go first. But before we get started in game 3, just want to shout out my patrons as usual. So thank you all for supporting the channel. Definitely means a ton to me. And if you guys are interested in supporting the channel via the Patreon, feel free to go ahead and check it out in the description box below. But the opening hand for Shiranui going first, actually they didn't choose to go first, I just realized Salamangreat made them go first. But the Shiranui player's opening hand is going to be Mizuki, Monster Reborn, Summoner Monk, Foolish Burial, and the Swallow Slash. So this card I assume is just more ways to get to the, the Solitaire, which is a very strong starter card. And then Swallow Slash is just crazy. It basically can pop 3 in tandem with the Spirit Master, which is super, super cool. Plus in this deck, since we're playing obviously pure Shiranui, there's more value to be potentially had. Like we can banish, for example, Solitaire to get resources back. So definitely a strong card for sure. This hand looks really good. And then the opening hand for Salamangreat going second is going to be Spinny, Foxy, Sign Up Mining, Buffalo, and Torrential Tribute. So they, I assume, decided to go second since they chose to go second, right? And they unfortunately did not draw anything right here. And yeah, we can see the opponent pretty surprised at the choice to go second here from Salamangreat. But we're going to see Summoner Monk being normal summoned, and then the effect to switch itself to defense. This card actually can get Ghost Ogred on that effect, which is pretty hilarious and sad at the same time to think about. But the effect is going to be used. That's going to pitch a copy of the Foolish Burial. We're going to see Solitaire being summoned off of that. And then Solitaire is going to tribute itself. That is going to summon out a Unizombie from the deck. The heart and soul of the starter plays. Going to dump a copy of Gozuki with the effect of the Unizombie. And then proceed to use the effect of Gozuki in Graveyard. That banishes another zombie besides Gozuki to summon from hand. The Mizuki right there. And then those two are going to be linked off for a copy of the Hcabe, and then that effect is going to be used. So that's going to bring out a copy of the Spectral Sword Shade. So we're going to potentially see that be used this turn because Mizuki can be used to banish itself, and then that sets up nicely for the Spectral Sword Shade. Of course, obviously, it can't be used right now under Hcabe, but if it is brought back off the Mizuki, then it can be. But it is actually going to not be the case because Mizuki is going to be bringing back Gozuki. And we have not used the on-field effect of Gozuki yet, so we can send a second copy of Mizuki. From here, we can go and link or synchro off for a copy of the Squire Saga. And then we're going to Mizuki to bring back the Spectral Sword Shade. And then the effect of the Shade is going to tribute itself. That brings back the Mizuki and the Solitaire. Man, it must be really, really nice to, recur Mizuki with that. Definitely. We're going to see a link summon of the Vampire Sucker, and then we're going to use Mizuki. That's going to bring back the Spectral Sword Shade. And then Vampire Sucker is going to draw into another copy of Solitaire. So pretty good follow-up in tandem with this Reborn here. We're going to then synchro off for a copy of Sun Saga, who on summon allows you to return any number of zombie synchros that are banished or engraved to the extra deck, and then you can non-target destroy cards your opponent controls equal to the number of cards that you returned. And also, if a zombie monster you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish a Shiranui from grave instead. So this triggers on special summon, notably, not just synchro summon. So it could be brought back via Mizuki, and then it triggers there as well, potentially. And additionally, the restriction is to special summon the Sun Saga once per turn. So protection effect is not once per turn, which definitely is notable considering that there are a fair amount of Shiranuis in grave at the current moment. They're then going to set the Swallow Slash and then pass. So we see the same setup as last time where we have Hcabe plus a level 4 monster. So we can do the Riser play into Shenshen, and we saw how well that worked out game 2 here. So pretty good for sure. For turn, we can see a top deck Salamangreat Circle, which is definitely not too bad. We're going to activate that in draw phase, it looks like. Yeah, so not able to use the Fibrax just yet. So that's going to pick up a copy of Gazelle from the deck to the hand. And then we're going to see in main phase, setting the TT first. So maybe that's to play around Omega potentially, because, this can be synchroed off the Riser play can grow into anything. So I guess they want to just keep this. Which they're, of course, going to go for the Riser. And that effect is going to mill a copy of the Spectral Sword. And then we're going to see that and the Summoner Monk turn into a copy of Shen. From here, we're going to see normal summon a Flame Buffalo, and then that's going to turn into Linger Rebo. So they are playing around the trap here, which is quite nice. Because this, of course, negates trap activations by attributing itself. And then Buffalo also gets a trigger here as well, since all it just has to do is leave the field. So it's going to pitch Foxy to draw Dogoron and Rage. Interesting choice of Kaiju, since it can be added back technically off of the Sunlight Wolf. So pretty interesting choice. And that's going to be nice against this Shen for sure, because that card is going to give the Salamangreat player quite a bit of headaches if not dealt with. So they choose not to trigger Gazelle. Instead, they're going to use Dogoron, or summon it rather. And then they're going to Mining, pitching Spinning for a copy of Jaguar. They're then going to trigger the Gazelle off of this effect. And then off of the Gazelle send, they're going to mill a copy of Will of the Salamangreat. So maybe going for a no Hcabe play here. They're going to turn that into a copy of Balings, and Balings activates to add a copy of Sanctuary from deck to hand. They're then going to activate Sanctuary rather, and then use Spinny's effect in Graveyard to bring itself back. They're then going to link offer a copy of Wolf, and then relink the Wolf, and then use Wolf's effect to add back the Will that was dumped off the Gazelle earlier. And then they're going to pitch the Jaguar for Foxy. And then they're going to link away. Oh, they said no target. Looks like they're thinking here. Oh, they said they do have a target, so they'll do that since they committed. All right, that's fair enough for sure. Going to go for a Splash Mage here. So they actually got rid of their Linger Rebo, which means that now the Swallow Slash can actually go in here. And they are actually going to fire that off on summon. So they're going to tribute the Vampire Sucker. And then they're going to pop Splash Mage and the set TT. And then they're going to banish the Spirit Master as well. And the Spirit Master is going to just eat a Balings. And then from here, we're going to see a Will being activated. That effect is going to be used to send itself, and then bring back the Foxy and the Gazelle. So I wonder what means they have of getting around the Sun Saga here. Trying to think of a potential play. Yeah, it's going to be tough. They're going to go for another copy of Wolf, it looks like. They're then going to bring back the Jaguar to the zone that the Wolf points to. Then use the Wolf effect that's going to add back Gazelle. So they're just choosing to not end the game. They're choosing to just go for the resource game. Then they're going to link into a copy of Transcode Talker. Then use Transcode's effect that's going to go ahead and bring back the Sunlight Wolf. And then they're going to link off into a copy of Access Code. Access Code on summon is going to gain 3k, and then it's going to banish Splash Mage to try and pop the Sun Saga. They're going to banish to Protect. They're going to do it again. They're going to Protect again. Again, not once per turn to use that effect or to apply it. It's just, the restriction is only to summon. So I guess they're just going to keep doing this. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and banish the Linger Rebo now. They're going to Protect it. And now Solitaire also gets a trigger here. So by doing it in that order, they get to bring back the Squire Saga. And from here, they're going to go Battle Phase. They're actually going to attack with Sunlight Wolf into the Squire Saga first. So actually it puts another name to allow the Sun Saga to protect itself. So I think that was a bit of a missequence there by attacks. They're going to go main phase 2. They're going to go and, banish. They actually didn't banish a fire yet? Oh, they did not. They banished water, earth, dark, and fire. So yeah, the Balings was banished by its own effect. But yeah, they're going to pop the Sun Saga one more time. And finally, it is defeated after a lot of trial and error. So they're going to set Rage, and then they're going to pass. So we see the Spectral Sword as follow-up. We see Shen, and obviously the Solitaire and Reborn that were already in hand. So all things considered, that is... I mean, Salamangreat cleared a lot of the board, but they weren't able to really OTK, and all they have left is Rage. So if Shiranui can play past it, then that's going to be pretty good. They're going to go ahead and normal summon the Solitaire. and then use the effect. But looks like thinking on summon, they're going to use the Rage here to pop the board, which does play into the hands of the Reborn. Yep. So will we see that come down next? The answer is yes. So we're going to go ahead and go for the Solitaire. Solitaire effect is going to summon out the Unizombie. And then they're going to go Upstart to draw in a Spirit Master. And then they're going to Unizombie effect. That's going to send from deck to graveyard a copy of Mizuki. And then they're going to banish Mizuki. That's going to bring back the Sun Saga. And Sun Saga's effect, so that's going to recycle the Squire Saga and then bring back, pop the access code. So you're saying I am dumb, which means maybe they could have gone for a different play. Let's think. Oh, you know what they could have done? They could have actually done Shen first. Then they could have Solitaire tribute itself, but it will get banished while Shen's on field. And then they use like the effect to actually bring back like the Spectral Sword Shade off the Solitaire. Maybe that's what they're thinking. Not sure. I won't pretend to be like the best or the most well-versed in this deck, but that would have been a cool play to see. But I still think that they're very clearly pretty far ahead here. The Spectral Sword is going to target Solitaire. That's going to make a 6-star synchro, going for the Archfiend Zombie Skull. Doesn't have to be the proper materials, just has to add up to be the same levels. And then Solitaire bring back the Spectral Sword. So I guess they ended up getting there anyways. Didn't matter. So they're then going to synchro off into Crystal Wing. Alright, cool. Seeing some boss monsters here. Shen effect to bring itself back. And then proceed to battle phase. They're going to attack with Sun Saga, and then that is the end of the match. And yeah, there's no Balance Engrave, so that's just going to be pretty much an OTK, because 17 plus 13 is 3k, 6k. Well, actually, it wasn't game yet, unless my math is wrong. Let me just check that again. So this is 1700 damage right here, plus 13 is 3000, 6088. Actually, so it wasn't game just yet. And also through the Gazelle. I could have used Gazelle there as well if they wanted to. But regardless, I think that would have been pretty tough. I mean, Gazelle would have been negated by Crystal Wing, definitely. But yeah, wow, we're going to see Shiranui actually take this one 2-1 over Salamangreat. Very interesting and a lot of back and forth for sure. Cool to see this deck pop off. Really haven't seen a whole ton of, pure Shiranui running around. It's mostly, usually like just Zombie World with like, again, Baylor Drock and Necro World, Banshee and stuff. So definitely cool to see different zombie variants in play here. So that's going to be it for the video and just the announcements that I mentioned at the start that I wanted to go over here. So first off, if you guys do want to let me know what deck you want to see in the next round feature match, which will be round 4, I'll actually leave the deck choices for you guys on the screen. You guys can go ahead and comment down below which one you want to see. These are the ones that I kind of briefly looked at and thought were interesting matchups, either in terms of gameplay or just matchup in general. So yeah, feel free to just comment which one you're interested in seeing, and then upvote the ones that upvote the comments that you want to see. I guess that's pretty straightforward, right? And then the other thing is, obviously after taking a month off from YouTube, the algorithm is not the kindest to that kind of thing, which is totally understandable, but I would definitely appreciate if you guys did, in fact, just share the videos around, leave a like, leave a comment to just kind of help out. Would definitely be very appreciative of that. I do appreciate you guys who managed to stick to the end of these videos as is. Definitely means a ton to me. But yeah, if you guys just want to go ahead and maybe share with a friend or do things of that nature, that would be super great. And if we do manage to hit 9K subs by the end of May, I'll actually start introducing a face cam into these commentary videos because I've actually gotten some requests to do that. So I will be more than happy to do that as well. And then the other thing is I also asked on the community tab page if you guys want to see me sort of rebrand my channel art. I had a couple of things in mind. For example, maybe like a caricature-esque image or drawing of me, of my face. And then there's going to be like some sort of way to identify the channel, whether it be keeping the name or having the signatory penguin on there, which I think that's going to stay no matter what. But yeah, you can think of things like Pax channel or Slim's channel or DZeef or APS, things of that nature. I was considering doing something like that. So yeah, let me know of any of those things if you guys are interested. or wants to provide input or feedback, definitely does mean a ton to me. And I do definitely just enjoy reading comments in general, so keep those coming as well. But with that, with those announcements out of the way, I want to thank again you guys for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more commentaries similar to this. I totally just butchered my outro right here because I was spending all that time doing those announcements. But yeah, subscribe for more informed and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on all social media platforms. Those will be in the description box below, as well as numerous ways to support me. And until next time, I will catch you in the next video. See you guys.